What's up, guys? Happy Monday. Today is Monday Basics. So we're going to go ahead and continue with that. Today's session, I want to go ahead and talk about expecting the violation, right? You guys need to understand that some setups need to be violated in order for the market to go your way, right? So understanding what setups need to be violated and what setups should be holding, right? That's very, very important. That's when we start developing as a trader. Instead of taking every opportunity possible, you do have to be picky and take some of the setups that are more high probability and going with the trend, right? So let's go ahead and get into it. You guys want bullish or bearish ideas, buys or sells, buys or sells? I would say both, but that just takes too much time. And I want to give you guys some chart time as well. All right, I see a lot of buys. So we'll go ahead and go with buys, right? Now, when it comes to the bullishness, right? When the market is in trend, what should we be looking for, guys? Buys or sells? Buys. That's half the battle, guys. Understanding trend is half of the battle, right? When the market is in a bullish state, we should be looking for buys. That is literally half the battle. Now, being more detailed and finding these specific areas, that's the other battle. Let me go ahead and mute everybody. Appreciate y'all. Don't be afraid to unmute or ask questions though, but if you unmute by accident, I'm just gonna mute you. But yeah, so if the market's in a bullish trend, right, we need to be looking for buys. Now, when it comes to the starting point setup, I'm gonna go ahead and keep it basic and stick with the starting point setups because I know that's what we broke down a couple of weeks back. And I feel like a lot of people are understanding that right now. And I want to just stick to that and just hammer that in y'all's heads. That way you guys can go ahead and continue to learn based off of that. Right now, let's go ahead and start drawing, guys. Anytime I draw, that's your cue to start taking notes and start drawing, right? So let's go ahead. Cool. So markets, again, in a bullish state, right? So we want to continue to look for buys. Now, at some point, guys, the market is going to have to pull back, right? So let's go ahead and create the pullback. There's some thick old candles, but hey, it is what it is, baby. Right? Let me see. Yeah, let's make these a little thinner. These are some thickies. Some thickies for sure. All right. Start creating the pullback. So guys, as of right now, this is what I have. Right? As of right now, this is what I got. I have higher high and higher low. Is everybody with me right now? Give me a 2 if you guys are with me. All I have is higher high, higher low. I need to see a break of structure to the upside to give me my BOS. Okay. I need to see a BOS to the upside. So let's go ahead. Market's starting to do its thing, starting to climb up. Well, let's just go ahead and see what's up. Now, what I like to do, guys, is I like to go ahead and put this line here telling me I need to break a structure to the upside. Right? Need BOS. Let me see if I can turn these off. Got you. All right. I need a BOS to the upside. It's literally telling me I need to break a structure for buy opportunities. Guys, this helps so much. If you're just like eyeballing it like this, like, yeah, don't get me wrong, you will be able to see it. But there's just something about keeping that line there and actually waiting for that market to actually break and close above, right? So that's what we're waiting for. We need for the market to break and close above, okay? Now let's just say news starts to come in, and this is what we get. We get this type of activity right here. Boom. Market starts to give me that BOS. So guys, everybody unmute. Do we have a break of structure to the upside? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's go. So let's go ahead and mark that up. This is my BOS to the upside. Now, guys, this is very important, right? Very, very important. Because understanding when we should start looking for sales is one of the most important things, because you can literally continue to look for buys, but once you get this confirmation to sell, it's time to start looking for sells. It's time to stop looking for buys and start looking for sells, right? So again, if this is my higher low, and this is, if this is my higher high, and this is my higher low, and this is my new higher high, where should my change of character line be, guys? Anybody else? Anybody else? Awesome. So it is going to be this one here. It is going to be this one, right? I want you guys to focus on the dominant external market structure, right? What does that mean, Vinny? Right? Notice how we have a higher high, market gives me a higher low, and then sometimes the market will just play in between that range. Does that make sense? So I don't want to focus on the internal low. I want to focus on the dominant low. Give me a 5 if that makes sense. Again, I know I had this mistake my first time. So this is where we fix it, guys, right? It's okay to be wrong. A lot of people will think this is my change of direction line, right? But for me, if this right here is my higher high and this is my dominant low, I want to make sure I know exactly where my dominant low is. That way I can use that as my change of direction. Okay. Are we all together right now? We're good? Let me know if we're good. Give me a 1 if we're good. I can continue. Give me a question mark if you are lost. If you are lost, that is okay. Go ahead and give me that question mark and we'll go ahead and fix that. It's okay if you're confused. You got to let me know, or else, everything else is okay. George, appreciate you, brother. Can you unmute and tell me exactly where you are confused at, if you can? Are you confused about where I put this change of direction? Because of the dominant market structure, right? That's why we want to understand market structure. So if you're struggling, if you're fairly new within trading and you're struggling with understanding market structure, I need you to focus on that for the next 3 to 6 months, bro. Because no matter what strategy you trade, you need to understand structure. Very, very important, right? So meaning, anytime I have a break of structure to the upside, I'm going to mark up this break of structure here for confirmation. But it's very important to know higher highs and higher lows, right? If this is my higher high, if this is my higher high, and this is my higher low, and this low here made me new highs, I need to mark this up as my change of direction. Does that make sense, George? Awesome. Now, again, this goes hand in hand with, if this is my higher high, my dominant high, and this is my dominant low, I don't care about what happens inside of this. I don't care about what happens inside of this. I need to understand where my dominant high is and where my dominant low is. I don't want to be confused in the noise, because that's exactly what they want. They want you confused in the noise. Does that make sense, George? I need to understand where my dominant high is and where my higher low is. Okay? Because a lot of people are going to be looking for buys around here. Okay, let's just change this to blue. A lot of people are going to be looking for buys around here. Now, what happens when the market drops and gives this zone a little bit of trouble, right? Now the market breaks in and closes below this area. Now everybody's thinking sells, 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 but we haven't broken the dominant low. So this is how you stop yourself from getting faked out. Like, this is how you prevent yourself from getting faked out, right? If the market does not break the dominant low, the market still has a chance to continue going higher. Does that make sense, George? So it's very important we understand where that dominant low is. Does that make sense, everybody? Let me know. Give me a 10 if that makes sense. Now, it's very important we keep this right here, George, right? Very important we keep this low here. and you asked, how do I know when the market will change direction? The market will literally break and close and stay below this line. Once that happens, we know the market stopped going higher and started going lower. Right? Are you with me now, George? Are we all together now, bro? Awesome, brother.
Hey,
Awesome.
Vinny, I have a quick question.
Okay.
Has there ever been a time where it passes that line and then it shoots right back up, or it doesn't keep going down?
It does. That does happen.
Okay.
So the best thing that I can tell you is to look for consolidation, right? Once we break and close below, when the market consolidates, that gives me more of an incentive that when the market does come back this way, it has incentive to tackle some liquidity. Does that make sense? So the more that it ranges sideways after it changes direction, the better. The more it just hangs out here and just moves this way, the better. That way, when it comes back up and it's time to start looking for sales, it has incentive to go lower. It has money to go ahead and target. Does that make sense?
Okay, yes, thank you.
Now, when the market just drops and then immediately comes back up, that could be a shakeout, right? It's picking pockets. And sometimes that happens. And that's why risk to reward is super, super important, right? Super, super important. Because what if this happens, right? What if this happens? We get a pullback here or consolidation. The market breaks and closes, right? And then we get a sharp break and close back up. So somebody was looking for buys in this area, right? Somebody was looking for buys in this area and got stop lossed. But it left no liquidity. It didn't give me nothing to target, right? Whoever was looking to take some sells in this area, there's no target, right? If it would have left liquidity, we would have had a target to come and tackle. Does that make sense? So since it doesn't leave liquidity and it just sharp move down, sharp move back up, it's actually giving us a brand new setup. And we can go ahead and enter here. We just have to wait. Sometimes this happens. That's why it's very important to understand how to adapt when market conditions change. Because this does happen sometimes, especially on lower time frames. So it's super important you understand how to adapt and what to look for. Does that make sense, guys? Let me know. Let me know. I know this is where we start to get more advanced, right? So like the more you ask questions, the more advanced questions you ask, this is like you're getting answers like this, you know? And I mean that's okay because we have to develop as traders, but so let's continue with our buy bias. Okay. We're looking for buys. We got the break of structure. We know exactly where our change of direction line is. Once we've identified our breakout rally, follow that rally back down to the last selling candle. 1, 2, 3, boom, right there. This is my buy zone, right? I'm looking for buys right here, okay? Are we all with me? Give me an 8 if you guys are with me so far. Awesome. Now, once we find our starting point, guys, our starting point is our point of interest to look for some buy opportunities, okay? But we need to find a stop loss. Our stop loss is more important than our take profit because that's going to save our capital. So the first thing, right, when we place our long tool, before stretching out our take profit, we need to locate our stop loss. So as soon as we find our starting point, we need to find the lowest wick in that area. Now let's say it's this right here. We'll go ahead and use that as my stop loss. And then we want to stretch it out to a 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio. Now, this is the thing, right? Sometimes market structure in this area could be very, very ugly. And maybe there's no wick. Maybe it looks like that. If that's the case, your dominant low will be your stop loss. Okay, the dominant low will be your stop loss, and that is okay, guys. Watch the lives. Watch where the educators put their stop losses. Guys, it's very rare when you see a stop loss with the educator that looks like this. Very, very rare. It's okay to have a little bit of a wide stop loss. This can be $20 risk. This can be a $20 risk. This can be a $10 risk. This can be a $10 risk. This can be a $200 risk. This can be a $200 risk. Does that make sense? Awesome. Says, is the dominant low a stop loss? So that was just answered right now. Aaron, did that make sense right now, bro? Awesome, brother. Awesome. So since we were able to go ahead and locate our lowest wick in that area, we can go ahead and have a little bit of a tighter stop, right? Minimum 1 to 3 risk to award. Now, this is the thing, right, guys? We know we should not be looking for sells until when? Where's my change of direction? Mark it up. Draw on it, circle it. Where's my change of direction? Awesome. 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 Awesome, guys. So we know we're not looking for sells unless the market breaks and closes below this line. Okay. I don't care what the market wants to give you, right? You don't have to look for sells yet. These sells up here, these are the counter trend sells. I'm not saying you can't take them. You can if the market gives you an opportunity. I'm saying you don't have to, because if the market is in a bullish state, if the market is in a bullish trend, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, we're waiting for the market to come back to us so we can go ahead and continue new highs. Give me an 8 if that makes sense, guys. So I'm not saying you can't take these counter trend sells. I'm saying you don't have to, right? And this is how we stop ourselves from trading every single day. Sometimes these continuation moves, they happen once every 2 to 3 days, maybe even once a week. Right now, I'm a fan of taking less trades because that means I'm putting my capital at risk very, very like not often. I'm not putting my capital at risk very often. Does that make sense? So the more capital, oh my goodness. So the more capital I can hold and preserve for later, the better. Give me a 2 if that makes sense. Because the more I put my account at risk, the higher possibility of me losing a couple dollars. Right. And again, I'm not saying you can't. The market will give you opportunities. And if it gives you confirmations, you guys all have the knowledge to do to make the right decisions. I 100% believe in you guys and believe in that for sure. You guys know what to do. You guys know what to look for. You guys know the confirmations. So I'm not saying you can't take these sells. I'm saying we're waiting for the next possible buy. Now, this is the thing, right? When the market is bullish, when the market's bullish, we focus on the blue break of structure. Now, this blue break of structure lets me know that we're looking for buys and we're continuing trend, right? So if I'm looking for buys in this area and the market starts coming down to me, when the market starts breaking structure and making its way back down to me, the market's also going to break structure to the downside. And when it does that, this is going to be a bearish BOS. And I want you guys to label it like this. We have a bearish BOS. You see this? The blue told us we're looking for buys because of the trend. The red is our counter trend. Give me a 2 if this is making sense, guys. It's the counter trend. I'm going to go ahead and just get it out of here so it can be a better visual for you guys. right? So now what I'm waiting for, guys, every time we get a break of structure to the downside, we need to mark up our change of direction, right? You know how we had the change of direction for the sales right here? Right? I need the change of direction for sales. I want to do the same thing for the buys. Guys, I'm going to be so up in the market's grill. It's not going to make any moves without me knowing about it first. I want to have the market trapped, locked and loaded. So anytime it breaks to the downside, I'm notified. Anytime it breaks to the upside, I'm notified. I'm giving the market zero respect and room. Does that make sense? So as the market continues to break structure, I want to go ahead and continue to adjust my break of structure line. Give me a 5 if this is making sense so far. But this is the thing. This is where it goes next level. And this is where we start adding more confirmations to our checklist. Very simple checklist, very simple confirmations, right? You know how when we get a bullish break of structure, we're looking for buys, right? Well, in this slightly down, in this downtrend, right, the counter trend that is coming down to our buys, every time we get a BOS, there's a starting point here for sales. There's only two things you could do in the market, guys. What are we doing? Buys and sells. So as the market's coming down to us, somebody has to be looking for sales. Break a structure. We continue to adjust. We continue to adjust. Guys, did we have a break of structure here? We should have some type of starting point right here, which means sooner or later, guys, anybody who is looking for sales in this area has to get clapped. Somebody has to get clapped. So as the market continues to make its way down, we have a break of structure to the downside. I continue to adjust my line. We have a brand new starting point. Let's just say the market touches this zone. Awesome. We're in this trade already. We should already be in here. Give me a 1 if you guys are with me. Give me a question mark if you guys are lost. Let's go, guys. Guys, in order for me to start looking for buys, what do I need? If you guys want to unmute, that would be great. If I want to start looking for another buy opportunity, I need to see the change of direction. Let's go. The girls are on it right now. The girls are on it. Come on, guys. Don't let these ladies outwork you. They sharp. They're very, very sharp. I love that. Keep killing it. These girls are on it, bro. I love it. Guys, I need to see the change of direction. We should already be in on these buys. But in order to look for another buy, to get more confirmation the market is going to go our way, I would like to see the market disrespect and violate these sellers. Boom. Did we get the change of direction, guys? Let me know. Yes, sir. So let's go ahead and we will confirm. So now all I do is I change this red box. I stay fresh. I move this red box to my brand new starting point. Because guys, if we broke structure to the upside, do you think we have some type of breakout rally to the upside right here? Yes, which means all I'm doing is I'm finding my brand new starting point, right? I'm finding my breakout rally, and I'm following that rally back down to my last selling candle. Let's just say it's right here. Once we get this, guys, it's go time. We can start looking for some more opportunities. And let's go ahead and turn this to blue as well. Right? So when the market comes back in this area, I am looking for more opportunities so we can go ahead and shift that market back up in the bullish state. Give me a 3 if that makes sense, guys. Understanding that there are two options in the market, buys and sells. You know you're waiting down here. Where is the opposition? Where is the person that's playing for the other team? Where are they looking for sells? When you know exactly where they're playing and what you need to see next, it's different, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and just draw that same thing I broke down right here, so we can have a really good example and you guys can have this in your notes. Okay. And maybe we can go ahead, you guys can draw my breakup structures, do your thing. I ain't gonna be mad. So let's go ahead. What time is it right now? Okay. Let's say market is consolidating, right? Market's consolidating. It happens. Consolidation happens, right? Now let's just say we break structure to the downside. I mark up my BOS. This is my bearish BOS, and my change of direction line is right here. Okay, let's just give us a little bit better of a breakout. Now, again, because we're following the trend, my bullish BOS is telling me to look for buys. So I know exactly where I'm waiting at. Okay, but notice when the market is coming back down to me, I have a bearish BOS, and this is my breakout right here. So if this is my breakout, my starting point for sells is technically in this area here. Okay. Now, again, market wants to go ahead, consolidate a little bit, right? Market touches my entry. Maybe market drops. Then we start to consolidate, right? You never know. You never know what the market's going to give you. And then we get another breaker structure to the downside. Let's go ahead. Let's just go ahead and continue to stay fresh. This is my BOS. This is my change of character line. And if this is my breaker structure to the downside, guys, where is my starting point to sell? If this is my breaker structure to the downside, where is my starting point to sell? Let's go. Stay sharp. Stay sharp, baby. That's my starting point to sell. So again, I may not be looking for sells, but somebody is definitely looking for sells, right? So understanding, you're going to see this, guys. You're going to see the market come up, respect, and you're going to be like, okay, bro, I know exactly what it's doing. Now I just need to see everything happen in my favor, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and copy. Let me see if I can copy some of these. Come on, my boy. Bet. Get out me way. All right, cool. We'll just leave it like this. A little bit of a consolidation just for the visual, right? Let's say the market tapped into us, and then the market continues to break structure to the downside, right? We continue to adjust. My break of structure, my new starting point. And again, this is just the drawing, so it may or may not be that big, but it's just for you guys to understand, right? This is just the visual here. Now, again, somebody's looking to sell here. Correct. Correct. This is exactly why it's called levels. So now look at guys, we have our last bit of consolidation. We can see the market has now tapped into this sell zone. Let's just say we have one more last sell candle and the market gives us this. Boom. The market has now entered my buy area, right? Minimum 1 to 3 risk to reward. I need to adjust. My breaker structure goes there. I know my brand new fresh starting point to sell is right there. And my change of character is here. Now, again, you may or may not have this box here, but I want you to understand where the sellers are looking to continue sells. Okay. Does that make sense? Is anybody confused about that? I'm not even, the thing is I didn't want to put this box here because I didn't want to confuse anybody, but it's very important that you guys understand where people are looking to take these opportunities. And it goes hand in hand with marking up the structure like I have been telling you, right? We have lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. It goes hand in hand with what I've been telling you guys, right? So now it just adds a little bit of sauce to what you guys are looking at. Okay. Now, if I want to look for buys, what do I need to see happen? I'm just going to delete this for the visual. What do I need to see happen now, guys? I need to see the change of direction. Let's go. So as the market, let's go ahead and see if I can give y'all just like a super saucy drawing real quick. Let's say we get something that looks like this. Guys, do we have the change of direction? Did we get that confirmation? Yes. So let's go ahead and we will mark that up. Change of direction to the upside. We already know where my next opportunity is. We already know where the next opportunity is. Starting point, continue going higher. Guys, give me a 10 if this is making sense. This is how we look for continuation moves. Sometimes these aren't going to be head and shoulders. Sometimes it's just going to be a starting point. All right. Whether you take the first touch here or you wait for your second opportunity here, that's on you. Right. But once you get the change of direction, you can't be second guessing. You can't be second. If you're not taking the first opportunity, I get it. Sometimes you want to see everything play out in our favor before we take opportunities. I understand. I'm very cautious with my capital as well. So I do wait for confirmations like this, right? But if you do not take this first trade here and you see this change of direction that happened right here, guys, you got to take this opportunity. That's the one. That's the one we want to get in, because as soon as that happens, there's a good chance the market is going to continue in that bullish state. And it's going to continue making new highs. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Does that make sense? If you do not get in on this opportunity, you most likely will be missed and you have to wait for a brand new setup to happen. So I'm not saying it's a break and retest, but when you understand why break and retests work so well, it's because there's a brand new starting point near that break and retest, right? So I'm not saying it's a break and retest. I'm not really going to call it that, because we're looking for a brand new buy opportunity based off of supply and demand using levels, right? But it goes very, very hand in hand with your break and retest idea, right? So again, you're just adding more sauce to your confirmation, right? But guys, are we good to go ahead and look at charts now? Does anybody have any questions regarding what I just broke down? Hey, I love that energy, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Give me a chart, guys. What are we looking at? Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys something. I like oil, and I was actually gonna look at oil and look at USD CHF. Guys, Catherine, this is what I would love to see after a change of direction. You see how we get higher high, higher low, higher high, and we break structure here to the upside? That's my BOS. Mark that up. My change of direction. Mark that up. Now notice, as soon as we get this change of direction, what do we get? Left shoulder, head, change of direction, and then what? What is this, guys?
Liquidity.
Liquidity. It's consolidation. That's what we want to see. It's holding, right? Not only that, was the market in a downtrend or an uptrend?
Down.
It was going
Bearish.
down. And look at the market was going down for a minute. So if I do understand somebody is looking for buys here, right? So if you're looking for buys there, okay, I understand, cool. But look at the liquidity that the market can tackle first. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I ain't gonna lie, bro. If we can get this sell, if we can take this, I would love to take this to this possible buy opportunity. And we can go ahead and start closing out opportunities there. And then we can start waiting for next trades. Right? Does that make sense? I would love to see if we can take this sell opportunity and continue that market down. But before I even focus on that, let's go to the 4-hour time frame real quick. Now, again, let's zoom out. Was the market in a downtrend or an uptrend in this specific area? Downtrend, right? Market is heading down. So this is what I'm seeing. I want to ignore this for right now, and we'll get back to that later. So I'm just going to keep it like this, okay? Notice how we have higher high, higher low, and we just start consolidating. Okay. We get a massive break of structure to the upside. Let's go ahead and mark that up. Guys, this is my change of direction line right here. Notice how we have a massive head and shoulder, right? Shoulder, head, change of direction. Guys, notice this change of direction is holding consolidation. So we have sell opportunity aligned with a big sell opportunity. So I'm definitely going to be looking for sells, right? Now, again, I would like to see the market give us to at least down here, and then we can go ahead and just exit our trades and wait for new positions. Like, I'm taking my pips and I'm running. Like, I'm taking my money and I'm dipping, you know? So, I mean, let's see how many pips this is. That's 160 pips. That's fire for Forex. That's fire for Forex, guys. 160, 170 pips. That's fire, bro. A lot of you guys catch 160 pips on NAS like every morning. You know, and it's very hard to catch swings like this, 170 pips. Those are pretty good moves, right? So I like to see if we can get something like this for sure. But again, look at what I'm doing, guys. Look at what I'm doing. Do we have a break of structure to the upside? Yes. Now, check me out, guys. If this is my higher high, and this is my higher low, and this low gave me new highs, where does my change of direction line go? Yes. My change of direction line goes down here. So the market can come down, give this buy zone some trouble if it wants, but as long as it does not change direction here, we can still continue higher. We can still continue higher. Make sense, guys? But look, what if it does change direction? What if the market does start heading down? And we get something that looks like this, right? I'm just going to go ahead and copy my candle colors. What if we get something that looks like this? What just happened? Well, we would call this a change of direction, but I understand where your head's at, right? It did break structure. But this would be considered the change of direction. Since we already had a break of structure, the upside, the second one isn't labeled break of structure. It's BOS first and then change of direction. It's not BOS, then BOS, if that makes sense. So since we got a break of structure to the upside, the second one would be change of direction. Right? If we get that, then we can start looking for some more sell opportunities, right? If you indulge, if you know, want to play inside of liquidity. I personally have not played inside of USDCHF since this consolidation. I'm literally waiting. So this is the thing, guys. You know, when you can spot a trade and it's just like waiting time. Let me go back real quick. Like when you can spot a high probability trade right here, everything inside this is like why? Why risk your capital inside of here when you can literally wait and preserve as much capital as possible and just wait right here? Does that make sense? You don't have to take trades inside of this. Just because you can like, oh, well, it's giving me structure. It's giving me some type of structure here, right? Guys, you do not have to, you can do what you want, right? But at the end of the day, guys, look at what you're playing in. You're playing in liquidity. And you know what this week has? Let's go ahead and go to Forex Factory. No news tomorrow, which means most likely we will continue to consolidate. We will continue to range because there will be no volatility. And look at what we have on Wednesday. It's okay. If it is it Rubio, bro, I'm real bad with names, bro. If you have a nickname for me, go ahead and unmute and let me know, or you can unmute and let me know how to pronounce your name. You know, but it's okay. It's okay, bro. You don't need to understand liquidity just yet. That's for the next stage in your trading career. Understand market structure. Take the next 3 to 6 months to understand market structure, bro, because I did not understand liquidity my first 2 years and I was smacking the charts. I didn't understand news for my first 2 years and I was smacking the charts. But why was I able to have good outcomes without understanding that stuff? Because market structure is king. The market structure has been the same since the beginning of market structure. Higher high, higher low. There hasn't been anything different. Lower low, lower high. BOS, change of direction since the beginning of the beginning, bro. I'm not trying to single you out, but like, you know, if once you understand the market structure, everything just follows behind it. And like I said, it just sprinkles on a little bit of sauce to what you already know. It literally just compounds and follows behind it, right? But look at this CPI on Wednesday, and then unemployment claims on Thursday, which means we have heavy news this week, which means, yeah, somebody can probably catch this. I'm not saying you can't. Somebody could probably catch this. But me, I would rather catch this. Give me a 5 if that makes sense. And you could ping pong. You can do what you want, right? As long as you're seeing every confirmation possible to where you feel comfortable in the market, hey, do what you got to do, right? I do know people like to play a bit riskier, or they like to be, I'm not riskier, they like to be more aggressive. Hey, if that's you, do what you got to do, right? I would definitely back test and make sure you get some data, you know, start back testing. That way you can start getting some data with you to start feeling comfortable with taking these more aggressive opportunities. But again, like, why make trading hard, bro? You know, like, trading is not that hard. We make it hard. We make it hard. We're already waiting right here. Why do we have to dive in and dissect and try to be like the best trader in the world? Bro, sooner or later, the market will come back in this area. And what do we have to wait for? The BOSs, right? BOS, change of direction, and we can go ahead and start entering opportunities and shift that market down. Okay. Give me a 2 if that makes sense, and give me a question mark if you are confused. Let's go. Clicking moments, guys. Clicking moments. I want you guys to have clicking moments. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. How do I know which level to trade? Frio, how new are you, bro? How long have you been with us? New here. All right. We like to trade opportunities as they come. I like to trade opportunities. He does more stocks. Okay, cool. I like to trade opportunities as they come, right? So let's just say the market gives me higher high, higher low. We got to break a structure. Somebody is looking for buys in this area, right? But let's say the market continues. The market has a very heavy volatility, and the market just continues higher high, higher low, BOS. Now we have another starting point. So you're asking me, which zone do I know when to trade? Right? If the market is right here, live price is right here, I want to take opportunities as they come. Which one is first, Frio? I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, bro. I swear to God. Which one is first, the blue box or the gray box? Blue. So this is the trade that we're going to be focusing on first, right? If the market can respect this and give us everything we need to see, awesome. Continue with the bullish trend. And if the market wants to go ahead, disrespect this zone, Frio. If the market disrespects this blue zone, then where do we think the market's headed? Let's go, baby. Does that make sense, bro? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that goes with in any class, right? Stocks, forex, indices, crypto, commodities. I trade everything the same, right? Let's go to the daily time frame. We're on oil right now, right? We're on oil. Now, I can see really good buy opportunities down here, which is why I'm waiting for buys, right? I've been selling and continuing to look for sells this whole time as the market's been dropping. I have not one time placed the buy, right? I've been looking for buys down here, and they have not hit my buy zone yet, my potential buy zones, right? So now look, is the market in a downtrend or in an uptrend here? Downtrend. So Frio, this goes hand in hand with what you're asking me, right? Look at on my charts, I'm just going to clear up some zones, but you're probably thinking, well, what zone do I take, bro? What zone are you focused on? Right? You have 1 zone, 2 zone, 3 zone. Well, Frio, I have a question for you, bro. Right? I'm going to change these colors. What zone is first? The orange zone, the red zone, or the gray zone? Orange, exactly. So I want to take opportunities off this one first. If the market can respect my zone, then we're good, right? Solid. But if the market disrespects, where do I think the market's headed to now, Frio? Let's go. If the market respects and does everything I would like, then we're good. But what if the market, you know what? We're just not ready to go down now. If the market disrespects this red box, where do you think it's going, bro? Let's go, baby. Let's go. Awesome, bro. Does that make sense, everybody? I know I'm like helping out Frio right now, but does that make sense? Give me a 2 if that makes sense for the squad. Awesome. So now check me out. I'm just gonna delete these for the visual. We'll just keep that. We'll delete that as well. No, you're good, bro. You're good. You're asking intentional questions, and those are, I mean, I understand those are basic questions. Those are advanced questions for you, but for us, those are fairly basic questions. But at the end of the day, bro, a lot of us are still fairly new. That we are all mixed up with beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So it's okay, bro. Ask your questions because I promise you, somebody needs those answers for sure. For sure. Don't ever be sorry to ask a question or think you're delaying the session. Don't ever think that at all. Never. Now with me, bro, I'm always here to help you. I will always stop my session to break things down, and I will always stay later in order to help y'all understand in depth. So now check me out, guys. I'm waiting to sell here. We have a break of structure to the downside, lower low, lower high, BOS. right? Now, look what we got here, guys. Massive, nasty breakout rally. Nasty breakout rally. Follow that rally back up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. My last buying candle, box that up. That is my starting point. We're waiting for sales there. Now, again, Catherine, notice how once we get this change of direction, what happens? What is this?
Consolidation.
Consolidation. This is liquidity being built up. So if the market does make its way back, which it's doing now, and it does respect my zone, I would look to go ahead and continue the market's bearishness to tackle these lows. This is our target point. When the market is continuing to go ahead in a downtrend, we would love to see consolidation, because once we get that, this gives us a target point to attack once we come back to our sell zones. So if we want to sell here, I would love to go ahead and take these sells down to here. Does that make sense? Anytime, guys, we have the market make that U-turn and come back for us, you know, when the market flips that B, makes that UE and comes back, like, oh, hold up, we forgot the homie. We forgot the homie Frio, right? Makes that U-turn. I want to go ahead and attack, and swing to those lows. Especially, hey, Frio, we can't forget you, bro. Especially if the market is continuing in that downtrend, I want to continue to hold these swings, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. We want to continue selling the market to continue the bearishness. Does that make sense, guys? Give me an 8 if that makes sense. Awesome. Awesome. I have a couple minutes. So instead of breaking down the rest, this is a setup that I'm looking at for you for US oil. Take a picture of this. I will delete this for the visual. Take a picture of this. I am looking to take this opportunity to continue to sell the market. But I do want to look back at some charts before I get off, because I know we have a leadership call and I'm always late to that, and they just be on my ass about that, you know. So let's get on. Etni. 1 hour time frame. Not sure what pair this is. This looks like US 30. Is this US 30? Oh no, it's US oil. All right, so you're looking to continue those buys. Okay, cool. This looks good. I do see what you see there. This is the 1 hour time frame. I see the 1 hour starting point right here. If we go up to the 4 hour time frame, we may have something different in that area. So let's just go over there real quick. Miguel, if you're on this call, sorry, bud. Might be a little late, bro. So you're talking about this area right here. Right, you're talking about this area. I'm mentioning this starting point. Now, if we go to the 4 hour time frame, this might widen out just a bit. And now it's actually your zone. So I like this area. If we're going to continue these buys the way it's going, I wouldn't mind this. But look at how the market just made new highs. This goes to your question, Frio. How do I know which zone to come or which to go to? Well, this is my new break of structure, right? My new break of structure. We're going to attack this level first. And if this market can hold, then we're going to go ahead and continue buys, right? So on a 4 hour time frame, we do have one here, but I would definitely like the market to come back a little lower. But again, if the market gives us everything we need right here and we change direction, if the market's bullish on oil, then it is what it is. Once we get this confirmation, I want to start participating. Okay. Etney, she's like, look at my charts, bro. Yeah, this is okay. This is different. EUR USD. I definitely like this for sure. This is the counter trend. Not really interested in that personally, especially with these equal highs here. Especially with these equal highs here. I'm just not a fan of that personally. But I definitely like the buys for sure. Let's see. Let's go down to EUR USD. Yeah. So if you didn't capture those sales, then you know it's going to be a bit tougher. I feel like it's going to be hard. Let's see. Your buys were down here. Yeah, we have the same buy area. Not only that, it goes hand in hand with a massive inverted, right? Left shoulder, neckline, head, change of direction. We hold this zone. Now, if the market was going to continue, this is the next best buy opportunity to swing, and we can continue that market back up. Which kind of looks good. I mean, market looks fairly bullish on EUR USD, right? And the market is continuing its movement, which is honestly pretty nice. It's a little choppy, but not too bad. It doesn't look ugly. This head and shoulder doesn't look like it's going to hold. I mean, it may, but you know, EUR USD is still fairly bullish. So sometimes they have to get clapped. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do have what you have there. Very nice for sure. Let's see. I know we have like 2 or 3 more. I'm trying to rush through this because I know they're already like, bruh, where he at though? GBP CAD. The thing is with GBP CAD, I'm liking. It looks like I'm liking buys mainly because the market looks bullish. We have equal highs here, so there's money sitting. We just swept liquidity, so this would be my break of structure. If we could change direction, left shoulder, head, change of direction. Let's get in and send the market up. Let's just take a look at that real quick. GBP CAD. I don't really trade a whole lot of GBP or London or Asian session pair or Sydney session pairs, but you know, just based off of that, good look at guys. Market's bearish or bullish? Bullish, right? So looking for sales, not very interested, to be honest. Not very interested. Okay. Now we have really good buys around here. So I'm waiting for buys, but the market can still continue back up. Now, this is the thing. Let's go up to the daily time frame real quick. This is just very ugly, choppy market structure. It's just not my favorite, that's for sure. It's just not pretty market structure. Let's go to the 1 hour. I'm gonna put a line right here just so I can see what the market respected. Okay, I see it. I'm seeing we have a low here, low point. We change direction, breakout rally, starting point. Now the markets respected that area. Not only that, we just swept liquidity, like I had mentioned, right? So now, if you are, where are you looking for sales? Okay, if you're looking for sales, that would be the area I would be targeting. Again, this is the counter trend sell we were talking about, right? Somebody has to get clapped. And I'm definitely liking the buys because we do have equal highs. And we did sweep liquidity. So with some of these pairs like GBP CAD, sometimes they just play out forever and they just range. They'll sweep liquidity, range, and then like slowly just like make their way up, like slowly, right? So just keep that in mind. So if we clap this area and we change direction, Etney, you already know what we should be doing. We follow the trend, okay? I believe this was the last one. Okay, yeah. Awesome, guys. I am not too late. Hopefully they're not too mad at me. But guys, fire session, in my opinion. Fire session. Let the chats know that y'all came and y'all got the value. Because honestly, I came with the intention to give you guys clicking moments on very specific things today. And I feel like we accomplished that. And I like that. You know what I'm saying? My whole point of doing these calls is to get you better. Every single call. Yes, I will send in the recording once I get it. Every single call, my intention is to get you guys better and just get you that much closer, push you guys just that much closer towards your goal. You know, so if I gave you guys clicking moments at all today, I would appreciate it if you guys let the Powerhouse chat know, let the university chat know, let them know that you're here grinding and getting the value that you want, right? Because there are lots of people in these chats and there are 40 people on this call. And I know for sure the people that are plugged in on this call got value, right? So with that being said, I appreciate you guys for your time and I will see you guys on Friday. You guys have a blessed trading week. Trade responsible, guys.